Shepard, last week we began looking into this frankly shocking lawsuit that's been filed by Lil Rodney Jones, against P. Diddy, Puffy Combs. How you doing, Shepard?
I'm doing great. Weather's good. It's a great day down here in Mexico. And yeah, I'm ready to cover this. I've always been into being into the whole Tupac murder case and all that and investigating that. And just like hearing a lot of stuff about Sean Puffy Combs through a lot of different sources and witness testimony leads me to believe he's a shady and nefarious character for sure.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, we share opinions on this show. It's important that people understand that neither Shepard nor I are attorneys. You can follow Shepard on X, which I still think is Twitter. FX, Shepard. It's Twitter as far as I'm concerned. But
right.
you got to
banned.
search for them. They seem to block Shepard. So get on there and follow at Shepard Ambellas. You can also watch the simulcast of our sponsor exclusive broadcast that's coming up at 4:30 on subscribestar.com/Shep. It's also going to be on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Now, I don't know how many other journalists or YouTubers or people you've seen talking about this Rodney Jones lawsuit, Shepard, but there was a initial kind of uptick. We had some people talking about the fact that this guy, Mr. Malcolm, who is mentioned in the lawsuit as P. Diddy's fixer, sort of like the Harvey Keitel of the hip hop world, who's the guy that you call when you need people or problems to disappear. It was identified online that guy was also having something to do with Michael Jackson at a very young age. I don't know what we know about that guy. Candace Owens picked that up, but it seems like people just sort of gravitated to that and then dropped the rest. You and I were talking about these allegations surrounding the shooting at Chalice Studios. This picture, Shepard, is from the Chalice Studios website. Do you know what any of this crap is?
No, not really. I mean, it like offhand, it looks like a trident or something like that.
Yeah.
Notice the other lady has like a trident looking thing too.
Huh.
So I wonder what that means.
Yeah, I do too. And it's part of the reason why I wanted to look at this with everybody, because there's going to be people watching who will recognize these symbols that perhaps you and I don't. I mean, I think like you, I have a tendency to gravitate toward strange, unexplained things and stuff that people say, oh, never mind that. Don't pay any attention to that. I have a tendency to focus on, and I find, Shepard, that sometimes it really leads to stunning findings.
Yeah, it's really weird how, the twists and turns things can take when you like really check in on them. I mean, those are really strange symbols or instruments or something weird. I mean, it almost looks alien.
Yeah. So Brian is in our comments and says caduceus is what the angel is holding. So I don't know what a caduceus is, but it seems that Wikipedia, this is exactly what I wanted. So the caduceus is this medical thing. It's, let's see, Herald's wand, the staff carried by Hermes in Greek mythology and consequently by Hermes Trismegistus, Greco-Egyptian mythology. The same staff was borne by other heralds like Iris. See, that's what I thought was happening.
You see how it says the short staff is entwined by two serpents?
Yes.
Well, interestingly enough, you know how Tupac and Biggie, a lot of people theorize they kind of like canceled each other out, like murdered each other out, from both sides of the record labels or something like that. But Tupac means shiny serpent. And what if the other serpent, what if somehow Biggie had some kind of background history to where he was like the other serpent of that
Wow.
or something?
Well, the thing that
Hmm.
I find strange is why would what we're going to do on our sponsor exclusive segment, Shepard, is we're going to go through material that YouTube is likely to object to and cancel the show over. So I really want people to join us on the sponsor exclusive segment. I've been looking through the public website of this Chalice Studios, and it's a hip hop focused studio. Most of the artists and various people that perform there or go there appear to be recording hip hop albums, and there's a lot going on there surrounding black culture. It's odd to me that it would be sort of, surrounding all this Greek mythology. Why isn't there African symbology in there? It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, right off the bat, it's just so bizarre. It's not even like fitting, right? It's like they're into something else.
That's what I'm
In a
thinking
way,
about.
it's Illuminati-esque.
You and I are on the same page, Shepard, and that's why I really enjoy doing shows with you like this. See, the other thing that's strange to me is that
That's
when
a
you
pentagram up there in that green thing, if you think about it.
well,
Because
that's
it
why I
looks,
put that there. You're talking about this. This is their
yeah,
actual
because if you look at
chalice.
the inside of that pentagon, it has like an upside down star on the inside of it, kind of. You see that point down and then 2 points up.
Let me get you a better image of it, because I added that. That image is not in the room. That is the Chalice Recording Studios logo, which
Oh, that
I
almost
got.
looks like uh, almost like some type of satanic logo I've seen before, a Mark of the Beast type thing where it's not quite a pentagram, but it's like beastly looking or something.
Well, this is their logo.
Weird that if you look at it at an angle, it takes on a whole new form too.
Well, I mean, again, I agree with you that this is, maybe it's just somebody sat down and drew something interesting, or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings. Maybe this means something to someone. Again, just sharing this with people, I think, is going to get us more information about it. But even if we,
See,
just go to
zoom
the
in on that a little bit. Zoom in on that a little bit. Now, no,
oh,
zoom
look,
out.
there's
See
a
that
star in the
starfish
middle of it,
thing?
and there is a
See,
pentagram.
see the star and
Yeah,
the
and
starfish,
mushrooms.
but also there's a bigger starfish looking thing that's a upside down star. It's the shadows, all the dark part.
You're right. Boom, 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 boom. So there's a lot of 5-pointed stars in here. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to look at stuff like that. We're also going to, if we go to the main Chalice Recording Studio website, for people who weren't with us last week or didn't see that episode, they can still see it on subscribestar.com/shep or odyssey.com/@crowdsource the truth, all these different subscriber only channels. But what we noticed, Shep, was that there was just an incredible lack of reporting on this. And it didn't mention the name of the recording studio in the news in Los Angeles when this shooting in the bathroom took place, that the Rodney Jones lawsuit alleges the LAPD went in there and witnessed all of this stuff and then just decided that the guy got shot outside on the street. So this is their website, shows us, all the different recording studio layouts. They've got, here, what do you think of this? I mean, they're trying to make these places like hip and trendy, so maybe we're wrong. Maybe they're just decorating it like this to be cool.
It's odd though, the color choice too is interesting.
What do you think about this, Shepard? We've got Studio A, Studio B, Studio C, Studio D, and Studio G. What happened to Studios E and F? Why don't they have those? Or why not just make Studio G into Studio E? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, weird.
Almost as if two studios maybe got closed down and they just deleted them from the website. I don't
Yeah.
know. Can't explain that. But these are strange things that I see. And, as we look at these different studios, I think the one I got that crazy image from a moment ago was Studio B. So perhaps different studios are arranged for different reasons. But, here's exactly what it looked like before I made some changes to it, little up-res, and added that logo. But it's, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely got a vibe to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to check into these art pieces more because
Right.
that's just so bizarre.
Yeah. And I mean, when you start doing this stuff, wait a minute. I thought that was a checkerboard thing. I mean, on the one hand, perhaps this is normal. This is just a regular recording studio where people hang out. This is not unusual to have showers in a recording studio. Sometimes people want to be there all hours of the night, do a session, and they're artists. So sometimes they're smoking weed or doing whatever they're doing in there, and they just kind of like look the other way and let them do it. I mean, the issue is maybe smoking weed is okay, but I don't think you can shoot people in the bathroom and just say, oh yeah, take that guy outside.
Maybe that's what the 2 secret studios are for.
That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, we can't easily confirm if those are studios. I mean, look, it's also possible, Shepard, that whoever made that website doesn't know the alphabet, hates the letters E and F. There's a lot of reasons why that wouldn't necessarily
the
be there.
G is for real G's in the studio. Only
like
gangster rappers can go in.
Right. Maybe they only had, 5 studios and they wanted one of them to be Studio G. That is not sufficient evidence to determine that anybody has been involved with a crime. So in addition to going over this stuff, I want to make sure that people don't jump to conclusions, even if they are conclusions that, satisfy your biases. This studio, Chalice Studios, it's on Highland. It's 845 Highland Avenue in Los Angeles. So that's sort of like right outside Hollywood, very close to where I used to live in LA. And there we go. Okay, so here we go. This is, to give people an idea of this layout here, I think the Hollywood sign is like somewhere over this way. Let's just find that real quick. Oops. Have you ever lived in LA, Shepard?
No, I've been there a couple times.
Okay, so here's the Hollywood sign, and this is a fun hike if people haven't been to LA. You can go up there and kind of stand behind the sign and see the whole city.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay, but then when we go to 845 Highland, you can see this is just, 845 Highland Avenue, Los Angeles. It's just sort of right outside Hollywood. Maybe it even is technically Hollywood proper, but like this is just a lot of low buildings. I mean, to my recollection, this area is a lot of like camera rental places, and it's like less expensive real estate that's kind of Hollywood adjacent. So a lot of things like these recording studios.
It's stuff you would rent for studio shit and stuff like that.
Film production, music production, etc. So this is the place right here, and this is their parking lot. And it is not unusual, because it's like rich people who own these like production companies in the middle of industrial parks and industrial areas in Los Angeles, and they just don't want a lot of weirdos coming in. So it's pretty common to have this kind of, kind of like fenced off stuff here. This, you're not going to see anything. You drive up to this, you program your code into this thing, and you go in there. But you can see how, you walk by this and you're not going to see what's going on in the place. You just can't gain access to this studio unless you're an invited guest. And we've heard how the cops were there for hours, or maybe we didn't hear that. That's mentioned in the lawsuit. We went all the way through the introduction and the description last week, and now today on the sponsor exclusive segment in just 15 minutes, we're going to go over all the causes of action, and we're going to talk about some other things that have happened in the past week. Shepard, what are your feelings about this P. Diddy lawsuit, everything surrounding it, and what we know so far?
Well, I know that there's a lot of people that are probably going to come forward even beyond this. But my personal opinion on P. Diddy is he's a somewhat powerful, a really powerful individual. And, I don't know how far like people will necessarily make it, with him, or, will he pay some of these people off or just scare them away? But um, I know that certain people are more outspoken by him, but certain people you can clearly tell they're almost scared. When things are brought up about him, I've seen on a couple shows like a couple things happen where people were looking like real uncomfortable, like talking about him and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think that he's been involved in lots of shady doings and stuff, and they were spiking those drinks up according to Gene Deal, his
Well, and
body.
also according to the allegations
Yep.
in the lawsuit. That's what's most interesting, is that a lot of these anecdotal accusations that you've known
Are
about for
backed up.
years, right, they seem to be coming back in the lawsuit. And so, again,
Yeah.
strictly a large amount of accusations doesn't make them true. But the thing that's interesting about this Rodney Jones lawsuit is that the guy kind of presents a large amount of evidence. Now, again, Sean Combs, P. Diddy, has not yet had the chance to rebut that evidence, so we're not saying it's true. But at the same time, this is not just some idiot publishing an article on a blog making all kinds of accusations. He's
Yeah.
presented some evidence. Now, before we
Right.
go over to the sponsor exclusive segment, Shep, I want to just show you the docket. This is Pacer, public
Okay.
access to court electronic records. And we can see this is
yeah.
Jones v. Combs. This was filed February 26th. The last filing in the case was 1 week ago today. And what we're looking at here are docket annotations. So let's just go over exactly what's happened in the case so far. So there was a filing error initially, a PDF error in the complaint against ABC Corporations, 1 through 10 Chalice Recording Studios, Justin Dior Combs, Sean Combs, Combs Global Enterprises, Lucian Charles. So this is all the people, but there was some sort of technical error with the filing.
Okay.
And then there's a notice to Rodney Jones' attorney regarding the deficient pleading. Notice to the attorney Tyrone Anthony Blackburn to refile document number 1. Filing is deficient for the following reasons. The PDF attached to the docket entry for the pleading is not correct. The PDF must be titled to correspond with the event type used. Refile the pleading using the event type complaint found under the event list, complaints, and other initiating documents. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't say definitively what this means, but I feel like this is not a fatal flaw. This is just a technical error with the document, but I would have to say, doesn't speak well to the level of experience of the attorney filing it and giving them instructions how to...
Maybe they're playing games, though. Maybe this isn't that typical, and they're just switching it up on this case.
No, I think he made an error. Because
yeah.
he does make another filing. So it says if the deficiency is not corrected within 5 days of this standing order, the case will be closed.
Yep,
So
and
that
so he
didn't happen.
refiled.
Yeah, this is why he amended the complaint. There's a problem with his cover sheet as well. So then, on the 4th, in time to not lose the thing, they file this amended complaint. That's number 2. And then he files a request for a summons, which is the document that you would then give to a process server to go take it over to Chalice Recording Studios or Diddy's lawyers or whatever, and it says you're summoned to appear in court, here's the complaint, blah, blah, blah. That summons is issued by the court, and there's a process in requesting it, and there was apparently a technical error in that as well. If this were my attorney, personally, I'd be a little bit concerned, but then again, I don't know how this came together. Maybe this attorney and Rodney Jones are old friends, and the attorney said, listen, Lil Rod, this is like so far over my head, but I want to help you, so I'll try it. You got to bear with me. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
But he corrects the error, and so there's a civil case opening. Every filing from this guy has an error. This is an interesting one, Shep. It says, notice to the attorney Tyrone Anthony Blackburn, the following case opening statistical information was erroneously selected. The dollar amount demand is $30 billion. The following corrections have been made to your case. The dollar demand has been modified to none. So that doesn't seem like what he wanted to do. The language in the case speaks about $30 million. So I'm not sure what happened with that. Then they had a magistrate judge appointed, Judge Valerie Figueroa, who is a magistrate in a case that I'm involved in as well. I've not yet met Magistrate Judge Figueroa, but she's involved here. And that's pretty normal. They assign a magistrate in a case to basically deal with the litigants during the pleading stage and to kind of preside over some of the boilerplate aspects of the case before it gets to the real judge, the main judge. And then there's another notice. This was filed on March the 5th, deficient request for issuance of summons. So far, everything Lil Rod's lawyer has filed has had some notification from the clerks. Any feelings about that, Shep?
Well, either they're kind of trying to make it rough on him, or he's just kind of learning as he goes on this one, and he's just gonna have to like do it like that, I guess, But I don't know if it necessarily speaks to the credibility of, I don't think it discredits anyone or anything. They just might be learning as they go or something. So
I generally agree, but that could be 100% correct. It could also be that this is just an extremely careless guy who maybe he looks at a bunch of evidence that's not too complete, and just as he's not able to form a proper filing in court, maybe he's not able to form a proper understanding of evidence that he's presented with. I don't know. But it is important for us to remain unbiased and look at both sides of this. Diddy has denied these allegations, and we're not accusing him of anything. We're just talking about what's going on in this lawsuit and stating pure opinions that it seems to match certain things that you've heard about the guy in the past. Now, there's one other document that I've created for today. And, I got to be pretty careful showing these documents on YouTube and other things just because they're replete with people's addresses and things like that.
Right.
And that gives them opportunity to strike the video. But what I've done is I've gone through and basically done a compare in Microsoft Word. So when we get to the sponsor exclusive segment, we're going to be able to look at, so here's something new that's been inserted. We're going to be able to just look at the parts that we didn't cover last week, and then we're going to get to the causes of action. We're just about ready to head over to that sponsor exclusive segment. Anything you want to say before we go, Shep?
No, I just think this is a fascinating deep dive that we're going to be doing here. And, I guess we'll get to the bottom of this and see which direction it's headed. But this is going to be interesting to see how it all plays out too over time. And I encourage everyone to support me at subscribestar.com/Shep.
Absolutely, and I second that. I also want to reiterate that neither Shepard nor I are attorneys, but we are going to be doing a deep dive. I haven't seen anybody else looking at the docket, evaluating the performance of Lil Rod's attorney. We're not attorneys, but lay people can form their own opinions about this stuff. People who want to support Shepard should go over to subscribestar.com/Shep. You can access all kinds of different information over there. We got to get Shepard past 33 subscribers. That's unlucky. So be the 34th subscriber today and visit subscribestar.com/Shep. I want to thank all the sponsors on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. We'll be right back. We're going to dive right into this thing. We're going to take you over to Chalice Studios and see what is